Okay, here is the Blackhawk Models PT19 that we were playing with last time. So if you'll notice, there is a hardwood button right here on the wing. This is your typical SIG half A bell crank setup. So ultimately what's going to happen is our bell crank is going to be mounted to that button right there, and then that horn right there is going to end up right back here on the elevator. So let me cut those off real quick, and I'll show you a good beginner's location for a trainer. Most half A's, you kind of put them here anyway. Even on this one, we're on the innermost hole there, and then back here we're on the outermost hole, so we're pretty much gonna end up in the same spot on this plane. Okay.
Now I want them.
Okay, now what we need to do, all I did was clear the plastic from the bell crank and the horn, and here's the rod we're going to use. So all we need to do is make a Z bend in the end of the rod so we can put it through the bell crank. I'll try and get the camera set up to do this. Take our pliers and grab the first part and bend to 90. Then we take it close and then make this part thin. Bend the other 90 there. You take the bell crank. This bell crank has a little button that goes in the middle, like a little bushing. So that goes in. This part is the bottom, so that's what's going to mount to our hardwood button. So we're going to put our newly bent push rod into the bell crank like that. Okay, so now that with the button of the bushing, get it to focus, facing up, we're going to screw that into the button. Okay, so now that the screw is in, that is all that it looks like. And your bell crank, when turned with the lead outs, is going to move the push rod. So now we need to attach the push rod to the elevator. So we're going to place the horn on the elevator. And what you would do is get that neutral, or relatively it's easy to move, so I do that. And where this falls straight is how you're going to line up your horn. That way you get no binding. So let me go ahead and line that up. And if you'll notice, we have the push rod on the innermost hole, the one closest to the center. That's going to give us less overall travel. Okay. Now that we've got our horn installed in the location we want it, the thing about these horns is you want the hole that you're going to use when the elevator's in neutral to be directly over the hinge line. So I'm using that top hole to be over my hinge line. That way your throw is even up and down. Not like you're going to be using a lot of throw down to begin with, but always try and set them up as correctly as possible, because you get in the habit with these, and when you move up, it's just that much easier because you're already in that habit. So I'll have to put the camera down just so I can make this proper, but I'm going to line this up and put my Sharpie mark where the hole is, and then we're going to bend that there so that we're lined up. We can do just a straight 90 and put a clip or something on there, you know. So let me mark that and I'll show you. Okay. So now that we've got it connected, go up and go down. Up. Okay. So all I did on mine was wrapped it with a little copper, and I'll solder that later on. So anyway, outermost hole on the horn and innermost hole on the bell crank is going to yield a very small amount of travel when the bell crank is moved in the normal operating limits here. That's, I know normally you would attach lead outs and your tip fence first, but I'm going to do it a little bit different later. So anyway, any questions, let me know. We'll put up more videos.